Golden Trout. I think it's safe to say the Golden Trout is one of the hardest diamonds to catch on the entire game. I personally really struggled to catch my first one when I started playing. I actually had to catch, I believe, north of 300 Golden Trouts in order to catch my first diamond, and it wasn't until I started fishing on the locations I'ma show you in this video that I drastically started to decrease the number of Golden Trouts it took me to catch more diamonds. However, before going over the locations, I'm also gonna show you the two setups I like to use when fishing for this species. You know, the Golden Trout can be caught using a good number of different baits and lures. You can catch them using spinners, you can catch them using spoons, you can catch them with cheese, marshmallows, red worm, and even artificial corn yellow or corn on a bottom setup. I personally prefer to fish for them using a float setup and occasionally a bait casting setup, although independently of what kind of setup you decide to use, I would suggest you to choose a rod with a maximum line strength of minimum 2 kilos, a reel with a maximum drag of again minimum 2 or 3 kilos, a 3 kilo line or similar, a hook size number 9 with marshmallows when using a float setup. You know, the hook size number 9 is gonna let you catch everything from bronze to diamond, and the marshmallows are gonna let you catch exclusively the Golden Trouts and the Rainbow Trouts on the locations I'ma show you. You also have the option to use something like a number 9 spinner, but the disadvantage is that many other species are also gonna bite it, although it is also very effective. And you may be asking, why do I prefer to use bronze hooks when the silver hooks are also quite effective? Well, the reason is because in the case of the Golden Trouts, the silvers are not that common. So you probably aren't gonna get too many bites when using a silver hook. I mean, sometimes you may get a fire session and still get a nice number of bites while using a silver hook, but most of the times that won't be the case. At least not from the start. So what I would recommend you, regardless of the location on which you are fishing, is to start by using a hook size number 9, which is a bronze hook. Use it for a while, try to catch like 30 or 40 fish with it. Just make sure to also use proper formats to chum the water. And once you catch that amount of fish, you can switch over to a silver hook, and normally, in my experience, you'll get a much more consistent bite rate after using a bronze hook for a while. I mean, that is just my experience, there's nothing officially proven about that. You can definitely start by using a silver hook, and maybe you'll get a lot of bites right off the bat, but in case you don't, which is likely, definitely take the bronze hook approach. Now we're gonna go over the first location I would really recommend you visiting if your goal is to catch a Diamond Golden Trout. This place is regarded by many as the best spot to catch a diamond for this species, and based on my experience I would say I agree. Right here, on this lake. This entire lake is able to produce diamonds, but these 3 markers are the spots on which I've caught the majority of them. I would personally recommend you to stand around this spot, where I am at the moment, and before casting make sure to chum the water using proper formats. You know, chumming the water is by no means necessary. You can perfectly catch a diamond without tossing out a single ball of chum, but it definitely speeds up the process of catching lots of fish, and it's likely you will have to catch dozens of Golden Trouts before catching the first diamond. So simply be patient, stand around here, and cast towards the lake using, as I said, either a hook size number 9 with marshmallows or a number 9 spinner, taking these markers as reference. Okay, very high tension, this is gonna be a Golden Trout. And a pretty decent sized one. Yeah. How heavy is it? Alright, he's a gold. 2.94 kilos. Not super heavy, they are actually able to get much heavier before reaching diamond, but it's nice to see the first gold of the day. Whoa! That's something. That's some tension. This has to be diamond. Like, no doubt, it is pulling way harder than the gold. We are currently using a hook size number 6 with cheese after catching like 30 fish using a hook size number 9. I attempted to use a hook size number 6 from the start, but I wasn't getting any bites, so I switched over to the hook size number 9 to catch all the bronzes. And now that I switched back to the hook size number 6, we finally hooked a giant. Look at his size. No way. Oof, 4.63 kilos. What a monster. It is actually our new personal best. This thing is massive, look at the size. It actually dwarfs the last gold, it is like double the size. After catching like 50 fish on this lake today, we have another diamond. We caught him exactly right here. And look at this. The majority of the catches right here were while using a hook size number 9. I caught maybe like 30 bronzes and a few silvers with it, and then I switched over to a hook size number 6. I caught a few silvers, 1 gold, and then this diamond. Okay. I don't wanna get my hopes up too much, but this may be a second diamond. I mean, the tension is very promising, so I wouldn't be surprised. Come on. Yeah, he looks big. Only gold, 2.95 kilos. Nice catch, but I think it's time to now move on to the second location, which is also fantastic. Now we're gonna go over the second of my favorite hotspots where it's possible to catch a Diamond Golden Trout. This second hotspot is also great, maybe not as consistent as the first location, but it's also one of my favorites. I would really recommend you visiting this lake during the morning, especially if you couldn't catch a diamond on the first location. You know, I normally like to stand right here on this dock, and the interesting thing about this location is that even though the entire lake is able to produce diamonds, a great number of those diamonds comes from this corner, around this marker. So a lot of times what works is to simply stand right here and keep casting towards this corner until you catch a big one. And whenever you feel the bites are starting to slow down on this corner, then you can start casting towards other parts of the lake, but eventually return to this corner. That's some tension. What do we have here? Is this a giant golden? It should be a golden trout. So the only question is, how heavy is it? It is definitely heavy, nothing compared to the last diamond. I mean, the last diamond was gigantic, and it is a gold, 2.67 kilos. Not too bad. That is the first gold we catch today on this location. We are simply gonna continue casting towards this corner of the lake and hopefully we'll catch a diamond at some point. Oh, no way. No way, this one is way heavier. Like way heavier. And if I thought the last one had a chance to make it, then I'm sure this one will make it. No doubt. Is this a diamond? And it is a diamond. 3.53 kilos. I gotta say, we've been having some very nice luck with these golden trouts. We haven't caught as many golds as with other species, but 2 diamonds already, that is amazing. What a catch. On a hook size number 9 with marshmallows. Now as for the third location, we have another hotspot that is also very good for this species, but in addition to that, it is also fantastic for mountain whitefish. Essentially this lake. This entire lake is able to produce Diamond Golden Trouts, but this spot in particular, where I have this marker, is where the majority of the diamond whitefish tend to spawn. So if you wanna target the golden trout, make sure to cast all over the lake, preferably using a hook size number 9 with marshmallows. Or if you wanna target a whitefish, then you can use exactly the same setup, but putting more emphasis on this part of the lake. Now, in addition to the 3 hotspots I shown you in this video, there are many other locations where it's also possible to catch a Diamond Golden Trout. Every single of the spots that are marked here is able to produce diamonds, so if you couldn't get a diamond on the locations I shown you, you can definitely try any of these locations and who knows, maybe you'll have way better luck.